Hello all. Sunnipians that I won't be seeing up close and personal. For this I'm sad, but it's kind of interesting to have this time in the studio and not preparing for the logistics of 9 days, which turns into 10 days or 11 days in a tent. I wanted to share with you today something that I've been making, just makes me feel good, represents how I can choose to look at every day. And that's just with, a heart with wings. What else can you say? So what I do first here is I'm going to lay down a layer of glass on the tip, because that's have to be the first place the bead release might crack, and if that happens then it sticks to the mandrel. So now I'm going to go back and fill in with some more glass. I need to get enough of a gather to create the body of this heart. Of course, this all looks black now in the flame, and it won't come back to red until it's cool. So sometimes if you're making a bead out of many different colors, it's hard to remember exactly what you use, because a lot of the hot colors do this. So I just want to get enough here. I'm going to squish it into a disc, so it will be flat. And I want enough material at the bottom so that I can then taper it into a nice heart shape in the end. A little bit more here. There we go. Now I'm going to smooth this out using heat and gravity and maybe my marver. It's always a dance with heat and gravity. That's what molten glass is all about. Okay, so first off, I want to get it heated up pretty evenly. I want to bring a little bit more down around the tip if possible. Okay. So I have two sides to this nice brass mold, and I just want to press this. It just changes it so nicely. Now we are stuck with what we call chill marks. I don't know if you can see that through the camera, but just sort of in concentric ripples, almost like a fingerprint. And before I go any further, I'll melt those in. Fire polish those right out of the way. It happens on both sides because the mold was cold and the glass was so hot. Okay, now I want to heat up the whole thing, not to molten, but just because when I go to pull a tip on this, if I just heat the tip, it wouldn't be good. It would get very thin and not be structurally sound at all. This way I can get more of a teardrop shape out of the whole thing. kind of a slow tug till you get where, you know, the feel of how much movement there is and how far you want it to go. Okay, so I like that. And one of the things glass likes to do best is go round. So I'm going to use that to my advantage right here, just to sure up this tip so it's not as delicate when worn as a pendant. I don't want to ruin the taper, and if I do, I can go back and I can pull it out a little bit again, but I didn't want it to be as thin as it was there either. So I really like that shape, so I'm just gonna bring it back. Do the rest of my thing and decide when it's all done whether the proportions are stodgy or okay. So, being a heart, we need to have a couple of lobes. So I'll do it on this side first. What I'm using is a tungsten pick. I'm just going to pull this down a little bit and make a line. Fire polish that. Do the same thing here. Okay. Now, I am really not pleased with the shape, but I think I can camouflage it. If not, it'll just be not my favorite heart, I guess. Now, through the camera, you can see all this yellow flare coming out of the torch. I have glasses on which make it so I don't see that sodium flare, which is nice. So I can see more closely what's going on. So there's one of the first feather, we'll call it. So I hope everybody's staying safe out there in this time, and I know that we that are prone to make things can cope in a different way than people that have other occupations, but we're all facing something or another, aren't we? So there's a second feather. It's nice to have this opportunity, though. I've thought in the past about getting a demo booth, because it'd be fun to just work all week and talk to y'all, as they say down south. It's a whole different discussion when you're working live in front of people. So I just always keep this warm, because if it gets too cool and then goes back into the flame, it will thermal shock, and we don't want that. So we try and keep everything happy by giving it a little rinse of heat after we finish a task. It's easy to get too involved with what you're doing, like dots on dots on dots, and next thing you know, the other side of the bead got too cold and something pops off. So let's look at that as the whole thing. That looks pretty symmetrical. So what I'm going to do is just warm up the whole thing before I put it in the annealer. And the reason for this is just to have it go in being the same temperature. I haven't been working much on the middle for a little while, and that's a place where it could crack. So just bathing it where it likes to be. And then we'll put it over here into my kiln. And I'll do this all day until I'm through, and then I'll bring the temperature down slowly and pull them out of there and clean them up with a diamond bit and some water, and then put the findings in, which are pretty sweet. They move, you know, and they're big enough to fit any number of things. So there's a finished one, and you saw one just go in to complete its hatchling. It's been nice to spend time with you. Enjoy this fair. Bye-bye.